So here's something I need to ask of you guys, if you will, any Harrison and Faith. Anytime we're doing this class, do you guys see the little red button in the top left and then a banner that says that you're recording?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Anytime we're doing this class, I need you guys, if you guys don't see that, especially right at the beginning, if you don't see that, tell me so that I remember to hit the record button.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to get us started in a word of prayer, and then I will introduce Mr. Everett to you guys, and we'll take off from there. Okay.
Okay.
Father, we thank you for this day. Lord, again, we thank you for the facility of Calvary University and all that offers. But even more so, we thank you for the students and the faculty and the staff, because we know without that, it's just simply a bunch of buildings. We thank you for the students that we have that come to Calvary with a desire to learn. And Lord, it's always our prayer that by the time we're done here today, that some learning has happened and that we can then move forward. Ask all of this in your name. Amen. So Mr. Everett's going to join us to start things off this morning. He is the director of our Christian missions programs here at Calvary. And he does, Joe, I'll let you describe what it is you do. Okay.
Okay.
So it's all yours, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you. I have been at Calvary since 2008, and I'm going into my 13th year as director of Christian ministry. Every person that attends Calvary in the undergrad level, almost every person has to do some form of Christian ministry, and so I oversee that program. If you have any questions, do you have open mic so you can talk?
Yes.
They have open mic, so
Yeah.
Feel free to raise your hand, and I'll be, if I'm not clear, I'll try to make it.
And if he doesn't see you, raise your hand. Just say, "Hey, Joe, I got a question."
Hey, Joe, that is right. That sounds good. The Christian ministry program is where you do some form of Christian ministry that helps you develop personally as a Christian and as a follower of Christ. And it should be involved in evangelism or a local church and organization, or your academic major. And you get to choose what you do with some limited guidelines, okay? We have Christian ministry program because our accreditation, our Bible accreditation group requires us to have it, but we also believe it's important. And we try to do it similar to how Christ discipled his disciples. We expect that churches and pastors and wherever you work, you have someone that will kind of be a mentor to you and be a guide to you. And then Jesus, after about a year and 3 months of the disciples traveling with him, decided or called them to be his followers or his apostles. He appointed them as apostles. He gave them a full understanding of what was all about. And hopefully during your 4 years at Calvary or however long you're here, that these Christian ministries will help prepare you. And he would sit down with them afterwards and talk with them after they went out and ministered. But it was about a year and 3 months. That is a guesstimate. He would send them out, and then they would come back, and he would question them. And so that's why we have a debriefing interview for half, or rounded up half. In other words, the basic requirement for a 4-year degree is 7 Christian ministries. And so I'd like to talk to everybody for about 20 to 30 minutes for 4 of those times. If you only needed 6, then it would be 3 times that I would talk with you. And I would be willing to talk with you every time, but that's so I can just see how you're doing and kind of encourage you. It's not a why did you do that? It's more of an encouragement for you guys. Okay, that's my desire anyway. Every student is required who is in the undergrad program. If you're a dual enrolled student or early college and you're seeking a degree, you need to be involved in Christian ministry. If you're just taking courses, then you don't have to. But if you want a degree, then you need to. And if you're early college, are either of you early college, or are you seniors or freshmen?
I'm a freshman.
Freshman. Faith, are you?
I'm still in high school. I'm a
You're still in
sophomore.
high school, so you're like early college. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're seeking to get a degree, then you would need to do Christian ministry like all the rest of the students. And then certain master programs need to be involved in. If you're biblical, Bible and theology, or biblical counseling, or divinity degree. I had Mr. Allen send you some printouts. Did you by any chance get them?
I didn't send them to you guys. I was going to tell you this morning. They're in our Canvas classroom. I can't talk today. Sorry. If you click on that the class in the dashboard, you remember I told you you'd go down and click on files if you needed to look at any of the slides or anything. Well, if you click on files, there's a folder there that says Christian Ministries.
Okay.
So all of the information that Mr. Everett's fixing to show you is listed in that file. Okay.
Okay.
Joe, I'm gonna go ahead and link that.
Okay.
So there it is.
Okay, so it's 3 pages long, and it gives a lot of the basic requirements for Christian ministry. Now, go to the second page if you could, David.
Okay.
And there, we're in about the center of it. There's a Roman numeral 4. Just above it is transfer credits. For every 15 credits that a student transfers in, they get 1 credit for Christian ministry, or it's reduced. Instead of 7, if you had 15 credit hours, you would need 6. If you had 30 credit hours that you transferred into Calvary from another college or institution, you would have requirements would be 5. It was reduced by 1 for every 15 credit hours. The first semester we give you at Calvary is for a church search. But I'm assuming that you've, the ones I'm talking to here visually, you probably have a home church already. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can still get a credit for church search by attending. Normally it's 2 services per week, but because of COVID, we are only requiring 1 service per week. You can get credit for that. If you're doing ministry like praise band or Awana, something of that nature in your church already, you can get credit for the church search and for the other thing that you're doing at church. Or maybe you're working at nursery, or you have some type of work that you're doing. It needs to be for 24 hours for a regular ministry. And so we allow 1 church search for each person, and the rest of them need to be a regular church ministry.
Joe, when you say 24 hours, you're meaning 24 hours over the course of a semester, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yep. And usually that would be 2 cycles. Traditionally in the past, a semester would start in September, but now it starts in July. And so within a semester or 2 cycles, let's say cycle 2 and 3, and 3 and 4, January through May, it can be those. And then if you do a summer ministry during cycle 6 and 1, you can get credit for a summer ministry too. Let's say you go to a camp and you're a counselor at a camp, where you help minister at a camp. You can count that as well. Okay. After you do your first church search, I like to meet with everyone the first time to explain the whole program to you a little bit better, a little fuller. Now on page 3, the last page there, if you want to take me to that, David. I want to point out number 3. What can you count as ministry time? Let's just say you're working as a youth, helping the youth group, and you have a main teacher in your youth group, and then your youth group breaks up into small groups, and you're a small group leader. Just say this is just an example. Or if you would work in Awana, are you students familiar with Awana at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay, but that's if you were. There's not a whole lot of preparation, but in your ministry, you could count as your hours your prayer time for your ministry, your counsel time. I'm sorry, not your counsel time, but your preparation time. And then you count the time, the length of the service, and the time that you spend with the people you're ministering to. Let's say, for instance, the youth ministry. You are assisting in the youth ministry. You're not the main teacher, but you have a small group of maybe 3 or 4 people that you help discuss what the main teacher was teaching about. You don't just count that 20 minutes that you spend with them, but you count the whole time of that service. If you sang in the choir, you would count the whole time of the service, not just the time that you sang. I don't want you with a stopwatch going 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. You count the whole service. The service that you minister in can count as a service that you attend as well. So if you work in the Sunday school and you're ministering there, you count that service as one that you are ministering in and one that you are attending as well. The reason before that, I was a pastor for 37 years and I ministered in almost every service I was in. Therefore, if I couldn't count that as church attendance, I went to church very, very seldom. So I think you're there. You're going to get more out of it than most anybody else when you're ministering. Any questions on that at all? Do you?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'm fairly generous in that regards, and count your preparation time, your prayer time, because I want you to realize part of ministry is preparing. If you are singing in the choir, you count the rehearsal time. If you're doing special music, you count that time as well that you spend preparing for it. Oh, let's see, what else? I guess the last thing, is there any other questions that you might have that I can answer? And I'll tell you my overall goal for you in Christian ministry. My overall goal is that God will use the Christian ministry choices that you make. I want you to prayerfully say, Lord, what do you want me to do? Because I want you to learn how the Lord leads you and directs you in your life. Because I believe God has a plan for you and a will for your life. And right now it's kind of in a non-threatening area. Your life isn't going to be, hopefully, in danger with this, livelihood or whatever. But I want you to learn how God leads you and how he directs you, and let him disciple you through this to prepare you for what he has next for you. So if you use your Christian ministries wisely and prayerfully, you can have a God-directed discipleship program where he prepares you and teaches you what he has for you in the future. And how, I think he leads people in patterns, and your pattern may be no pattern, but I believe that there's ways that God leads you, and I want you to get used to hearing his voice and help refine that. I'm 77 years old. I've got some choices ahead of me that I really need the Lord's leading and his direction. And so, it's something that you continually grow in and hone. And I want you to start it if you haven't started already, but help enhance it with your Christian ministry. So I want God to be able to lead you so you can have assurance that you're doing what he wants him to do, what he wants you to do. Okay, that's, I think, more than enough. I encourage you to read that over. I'll just give you it'll give you some basic understandings. I've hit the high points, and I hope all of you that are online will read it as well. Any questions?
Hey, Joe, before I take this down, especially for those that are watching on the video, and for like Faith and others that are not here on campus, there at the bottom of this third page is Joe's contact information. Okay, you have both his email there and his phone number. And you can see his office hours when he's there. He's actually in the office more than just those times, but that's the times he's pretty much always there. Because I
Yes.
catch him in the office at times other than that. But if you're one of the students that's here on campus and you're going into East Ed, he's that first door on the left when you go in. And the nice thing about it is he's got a bucket of candy there that I always stick my hand in and grab some of. I call him Mr. Evil because he's got that candy there, and I just can't walk past it. Okay, so if you have any questions, so you want one-on-one time, or you're going to do that back brief with Joe, there's his contact information. Feel free to get in touch with him.
Okay. I would mention too that every now and then after about 6 weeks, I say, okay, now you can start reporting your Christian ministries. And as you report your Christian ministries, what that information I send out, I probably sent one out, you probably received it already, telling the people who did it last semester they needed to communicate with me right now. There'll be links in there for a church search and for a regular ministry. You click on it and you can just fill it out right online. And then hit submit, and it comes right to me. And then we can either video chat, come in person, or talk on the phone for the debriefing interview. So we look forward to talking with you, getting to know you, okay? So blessings to you, all right? And church search is something that you should be able to fulfill, be just one service a week. Not perfect attendance, but faithful attendance. And also just one service, not two, this because of COVID. And you don't have to go to church. You can do it online if that's a health problem. Prefer a church, but my wife and I are staying home because we're old.
Joe, you just think you're old, man.
I know I'm old. The calendar tells me so. I have a young heart and a goofy heart, but I'm getting to be past middle age.
Well, see, actually, Joe's like me. Okay, we ain't neither one grown up. We've just grown old. We haven't grown up.
But not graciously. Yeah, not graciously.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much, Joe.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, y'all. So our subject matter today is time management, and in that vein, I have a schedule conflict. My boss has called a meeting for this afternoon at 1:30 that I need to be in because I've got some things I need to talk to everybody else that's going to be there about. Okay. But I wanted to follow through with Joe on the getting him to introduce himself and talk to you all about the Christian missions. So what I've done is already in Canvas. I'm posting basically the video for time management that I did last cycle. Okay, so where I taught this class just before Christmas. So rather than trying to rush through the slides in 10 minutes, I wanted you guys to be able to get the full lesson time. So I have already posted that video, and I'm going to post the video from what we're doing right now so that the people that are watching online can see it too. So when we end here, it takes a couple of minutes for that video to process, but you guys have already set in this part of it, so you don't really need to watch it. On the home page or on the pages, if you guys look there now, I don't know if you can look on your computer. If you go to pages and then click view all pages, and then you'll see week 2 time management. If you click on that one, in there you'll see watch this video first. That's basically going to be telling the people that's not YouTube to watch that one first, so they get to see what we're doing now. And then there's the main video. So what I'd like for you guys to do is take the next hour, instead of me being where we can communicate and you guys can ask questions back and forth. And I apologize, I didn't expect to have this meeting today. But I want you guys to get the full benefit of the hour. So if you would watch this video, it's like an hour and 5 minutes long, and it talks time management. And at the end, it gives you some of the details on what you need to do for the lesson. Okay. Just remember that basically what I want you to do is, and it's early enough in the day, you could probably remember everything you've done so far today. At least I hope your minds are young enough and can remember that. So you could start your journal as of today if you wanted, or you can wait and start it in the morning. But basically what you're going to do is keep a time journal for this week, and just keep track of where do you actually spend your time. Okay. So again, thank you very much for being here today. And I will be back next week, and I'll be online with you live all week next week. Okay?
Okay.
Y'all
Okay.
have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.